Micah Sterling, the ship's carpenter, dominated the space, his large hands gesturing over a crude map drawn on parchment. Revere leaned closer, his features sharp in the lamplight. Worse, it is a new timing mechanism, a clockwork device of extreme precision to control New England like a machine. He lunged toward the door. She grabbed the heavy brass lamp from the table. Before Phineas could unlatch the door, she swung the lamp low and hard, catching him in the back of the knees. Eliza ran down Cross Street, her worn boots making barely a sound on the frozen cobblestones. The South Wharf was eerily still, save for the rhythmic creak of the HMS Regina moored a few hundred yards away, her dark hull looming like a sleeping beast. He turned to his men. "Leave the pitch. We carry the axes and the will of the people. We are no longer the distraction. We are the reinforcement. Follow me." They had smashed through the wooden exterior of the warehouse, only to find the clockwork ordnance secured inside 3 massive iron-strapped trunks, each one bearing the royal seal. She found the heavy wooden block and tackle, a simple mechanism of pulleys and rope used for lifting massive timbers. With a final, terrible crack, the first iron trunk tore open, its contents a series of brass and steel mechanisms, finely wrought and ticking ominously, spilling onto the dirt floor. Paul Revere, standing before the gathered leadership in a secret room above a printer's shop, unrolled a new map, not of Boston, but of the colony's interior. Eliza looked at the map, at the terrifying, empty space marked the wilderness. The thought of facing the isolation, the wildlife, and the unpredictable violence of the frontier was a dread far heavier than any she had felt in the bustling, watched city. She looked at her reflection in the water's surface, eyes too wide, lines of exhaustion already etching themselves around her mouth. She saw not the baker's angel, but a conspirator. The memory of the fight, the knowledge of betrayal, and the feel of the lamp in her hand were now inextricably woven into the fabric of her being. The drop was a loose stone in the low wall of the granary burying ground, just off Tremont Street. Her basket went flying, scattering herbs and the precious apples across the ground right near the old gentleman's feet. She used a small candle and carefully held the Gazette over the flame. Slowly, agonizingly, the script began to bleed through the paper, turning a pale, sickly yellow. Colonel Tarleton stood at the pulpit, a tall, imposing figure with a reputation for merciless cruelty directing his men. She hurled the tankard with all her might. It did not fly toward the organ loft, but smashed against the gilded, ornate royal coat of arms carved above the pulpit. She threw herself onto the old man, shielding him from the immediate gunfire, and in a rapid whisper she gave him the single critical instruction. "The attic window. Go now. Tell Henry the blueprints are gone. It's a trap." The Hourglass Cracks had reached its peak, leaving her with the ultimate sacrifice. Her journey west was over before it began. The meeting point was an old, abandoned mill house several miles west of Boston, where the 2 rivers meet. Henry Thorne ignored the fray and ran to the tree, pulling a tool from his coat, a shipwright's auger. He located the pre-marked spot on the bark and began drilling, the sound a soft, frantic protest against the background din of battle. The explosion, small but violent, ripped through the hollow core of the Liberty tree. The flames, fed by the dry parchment, devoured the clockwork ordnance in seconds. Henry Thorne, his hands still raw from the brawl with Tarleton, pulled a leather-bound ledger from his coat, a ledger belonging to his cousin, Elias Thorne, the loyalist baker. The etchings revealed a stunning, terrifying diagram of the British strategy, far more ambitious than any of them had conceived. He pointed to a small, isolated spot on the etched map, far south of Boston, near the coast of Rhode Island. Micah nodded, his scarred hands flexing. He was a builder, but tonight he was a destroyer, poised to dismantle the machine of tyranny. He brought his heavy carpenter's axe down, not on the animal, but on the main support strut of the docking platform itself. Flames erupted, consuming the logs, the codes, and the years of intelligence in seconds. "Chaos is the price of our freedom, Colonel," Henry retorted, grabbing one of the brass clockwork chests and hurling it through a ground floor window toward the sea. Looking back from the small dinghy, Henry watched the smoke rise against the dawn breaking over Liberty. He traced the ciphered lines of a communication log, not for military information, but for any mention of Eliza. He had received no word since her capture. He carried a small, folded piece of linen, sealed with a simple, familiar wax stamp, the crest of the Thorn Confections bakery. Henry lowered the letter, a profound wave of relief washing over him, followed by an aching sense of finality. They walked out of the mill house and up the hill as the first powerful light of dawn broke over the eastern mountains, riding toward the sunrise and the vast, beautiful, terrifying challenge of establishing liberty on a continent.